Okay, today's a big day. It is the day of the Puget Sound Bonsai Association's auction, and it's a beautiful day. We've got nice clear weather, no rain in the forecast, temperatures just about right, and let's go check it out. Let's drive down to the Federal Way Pacific Bonsai Museum, where it's held at, and see what quality trees are going to be at this auction, and then get a chance to just kind of mingle and talk with some folks that are in the hobby here in the Pacific Northwest. We'll see you down there in just a moment.
I'm Bruce Williams. I'm Secretary of the Puget Sound Bonsai Association, and we're here at the Pacific Bonsai Museum for our club's annual auction of bonsai. We missed having the auction last year due to the COVID and the quarantines that we had to be under, but there is a huge crowd here this year, and everybody is really excited to be together, even though we need to wear masks and we need to be careful and social distance a little bit. There are some magnificent trees available in the oral auction, and there are some really nice material available in the silent auction too. That it's obviously the silent auction is opened already, and there's a lot of busyness around those tables. People are still arriving. It's really great to see new members that have come in. We've had, since probably the 1st of 2021, we've had at least 30 new members join our club, and that's just fantastic. It's really great to see so many young people that have joined the hobby. It's a really great hobby, and of course the younger that you start in it, the better trees you have when you get older. That's really wonderful too. The quality of trees here this year is very good. There are perhaps a few fewer trees than in the past, but again, because of the COVID restrictions and because some of our members are maybe a little bit older, maybe a little bit not as healthy as they were a few years ago, there are some that have elected not to participate this year. The material that is in the silent auction, the pre-bonsai material, is definitely a lot better than it was in previous years. There are fewer numbers of trees, but the quality is higher, and the bidding in the silent auction is quite vigorous at the moment. We'll have to wait and see a little bit as to how it turns out in the oral auction, which is going to start in just a little bit.
Around 1988, my husband and I took beginning bonsai classes with Sharon Muth at Bonsai Northwest about 33 years ago. And this was the third tree that we did, 7 beech seedlings. Now one of them died, so it had to be replaced later on down the road, but the major trees are the same. It's starting to violate my height rule. Got to fit in my car. And but it's always been a wonderful grove. It's just starting to turn the beautiful yellow every fall, and I put it in a Japanese lightweight pot, so it's very easy to carry, and it looks really nice with the foliage.
Well, hello everyone, this is Tony Farrell here with Puget Sound Bonsai Association. So today is our auction day, and excited to have all these beautiful trees, including this forest trees, beech forest tree. We'd like to have Aaron do a quick critique on this and a few other trees, so that you guys get an idea what it's like at our auction. Go ahead, Aaron.
All right, thanks, Tony. So you never know what's going to come into the auction. That's one of the great things about it, is seeing kind of the state of bonsai in the Puget Sound region. There's people from Portland and the Tri-Cities area, and I think as far as Spokane, driving in for this event. And so we actually can see this is one of the really special trees here because the age of this deciduous forest is really evident in it. You said I think it's an American beech, is what
I think it's American.
Yeah, it probably is most likely an American, just based on the shape of the leaf size, and the buds are a little coarser than the Japanese variety. But what's really striking about it is the fact that it's been pot grown for the majority of its life. You said 30 years?
33.
Yeah, 33 years. And so you can see that playing out in the branching ramification, the structure of all of these trees. You guys did a really good job in the placement of them, and you know, the patina of the bark down here lower is turning white, and just this time, as you said, we're starting to get that yellowing transition happening to fall. And I mean, to have also in the container choice that you made, this very shallow, again, really well proportioned size, but beautiful Japanese container. The color of this is just so complements this so well, especially too when we have it in that coppery autumn color. So I would imagine, I don't want to knock on wood, this one would probably be one of the more sought after trees in the auction, and also a little bit of local history tying it to Sharon Muth and Bonsai Northwest, which just shuttered its doors this year. So again, kind of another kind of connection to the history of bonsai in the Puget Sound region.
Thank you.
We'll cut off. And
It's like Antiques Roadshow.
here's another very special tree. First of all, this was submitted by Jared from Bonsai Echo. You guys know him. It's kind of become a Instagram superstar nowadays. But what's special about this is, one, it's on a Sharon Muth pot. This is a hornbeam, and I'm gonna let Aaron critique this one. I think it's just the right fall color at the moment.
Yeah. Did you want to add anything, Grant?
No. This is the perfect time of year to be able to display.
Yeah.
You know, one thing a lot of people get into bonsai and traditionally look at junipers and pines, but in the Pacific Northwest, you know, underutilized in bonsai has been the deciduous and also North American species. And so, you know, by having the auction this time of year, we really get to display what makes us special. That's right.
Yeah, and as Grant alluded to, right, the fall color of this one is really showing off. It's kind of like selling an azalea in May, right? Trying to sell a deciduous in autumn is the time to do it. Yeah. So I would imagine the deciduous trees are going to be very sought after, especially this one. Again, going back to the proportionality of the tree, right? It's such an elegant, delicate trunk. Again, the branching speaks to the age of it. It's some variety of hornbeam. We don't know exactly if it's a Japanese or a Korean or an American. And then just echoing what Tony said about the container, the value of that as being one from Sharon Muth, who, you know, many people know she also did ceramics, and they're not as common, especially having since she passed away in, I believe, 2018, I think. Before that, 2017 or so. Anyway, they're much sought after. But yeah, the movement of this tree off to one side creates a really striking image, but also the movement in this sort of lower portion here. You know, there is a wound here that is showing that callousing and age, and it's been turned sort of offside, so we don't see it right in front of us, which is a good design choice. But it does allude, right there, it does allude to it, and it does speak to a little bit more of the age. It doesn't look quite as much of as a young tree, even though it's small. Again, proportionally, it's a really well done. And again, I could see this one being highly sought after today.
All right, well, this is a Shimpaku juniper, originally purchased from Japan Bonsai up in White Rock. Takimura, remember the Japan Bonsai? Anyway, I bought this about 20 years ago up there, and been working it since. It's in a Kisan signature pot, and the movement was already put into the tree. It had another branch that came out this way that I removed in gin because it was just too, I think it still needs to be potted a little bit lower in the pot. But it's been in training, I've had it in training for 20 years, and I'm sure it was at least 25 years old when I bought it. So I would say this is close to a 50-year-old Shimpaku. I thinned it out a couple years ago because it just had too many branches. It was too thick, and so there was a lot more top back here, but it just made it too top heavy. And that's the tree.
Thank you, Ken. Aaron, talking about.
Yeah, I think again, this tree just highlights that classical bonsai design, right? One thing that I really appreciate about it is these lower gins here on the trunk, especially that one. There's really great movement in this, and as Ken said, this is an old tree, so you can actually see the lifeline starting to curl and actually grow around and swell around that gin, which just adds a lot of character. And normally without these gins, right, this would be kind of a pretty standard trunk, right, really uninteresting. It's kind of just that slow sort of S-shaped curl to it. But for me, these gins really add a lot of character to it. And so yeah, this is just that classic Shimpaku. We can see Ken's done a really good job of maintaining these really tight foliage pads. Again, keeping it in proportion, as he talked about, reducing the crown as they get larger over time, and so keeping that crown smaller, again, extending and sort of elongating the curves in the trunk so it seems much taller than it is. But in terms of that classical bonsai form, again, this is one I think if you are looking for a Shimpaku to add to your collection, I don't think you could find a better one.
All right, now we saw all the finished materials, and those are great. There's different kinds of bidders that come into these auctions. Ones that are coming in to look for finished bonsai. There's other ones that are looking for bonsai that they want to finish and make it a better tree. And that's one of them. One of those people are me, myself. Like being an artist, I get a kick out of making something even more beautiful out of this. Urban Yamadori, right?
Yeah.
This was donated to the Pacific Museum. This is the stuff that gets me excited, and this one has potentials and possibilities. So that's the kind of stuff I look for, and you can find that at the auction as well. I want Aaron to talk about this. This particular tree was donated to the museum.
Yeah, this tree, we were contacted by an individual who had some trees that their husband had cared for and had passed away, and it's not uncommon for us to get donations, and so this one was donated with the intent to be sold, and the proceeds benefiting the museum. And so this is some type of cedar. I don't know the exact species, but just based on the foliage characteristics and the smell of it, it definitely has a cedar.
Looks like a tuya,
yeah, and kind of like Tony said, I mean, this is an old tree, and you know, there's a lot of design options. You know, you could stand it up like that to get more of like a semi-cascade. There's actually some really good age. One of the designs I was playing with, if we had kept it, was to actually have it turned around and and stood up more like that, where you could see kind of this branch coming out that way, and then the trunk and apex kind of more here, showing off that really big trunk and the movement in it. So again, like Tony said, this is the fun stuff too, that if you're not looking for more of a finished product, a finished tree, there's a lot of variety here, from really small beginner plants to raw stock to totally finished bonsai that have decades of cultivation. It's really something for everybody.
Moved here, I thought, well, gosh, there's not going to be much going on with bonsai up in this area. I came to the museum collection at that time. I see the 1,000-year-old tree donated by my teacher, and I thought, wow, this is. But I still kind of felt in a corner of the world. But as I've gotten more involved with bonsai, I find out that the whole West Coast has a connection to this place.
Like Aaron said, we'll try to keep it short, but let me tell you a quick story. 20 years ago, I came to the museum with what's called the Weyerhaeuser collection back then. And there were two things that I remembered. One was the greenhouse, and then a 1,000-year-old tree. Those stuck to me. One, for the greenhouse coming from the Philippines, it made me think about the tropical islands right away. It brought me home. The other part is that over 1,000-year-old tree that put me into, I was in awe.
By a gentleman named Roland Fultz. He got his start in bonsai here in the Seattle area back in the mid-60s. He was one of the original bonsai bums, Kelly Nishitani, Connie Raphael, Dan Robinson, Bert Bruner, Bob Shields. If any of those names mean anything to you, he was a gentleman of that time, moved back to the Midwest and continued growing bonsai for 60 years. He made a very sizable donation to the museum, including some of his trees that he's cultivated for a very long time. This Japanese black pine being one of them, probably in his care for 30, 35 years. So again, all of the proceeds for this tree go directly to the museum.
This is Guy Jones. He and Emmy put together this entire bonsai auction for the Puget Sound Bonsai Association. They did a wonderful job, and without them, the event would not have gone as smoothly as it did. Ken Wassum was a past president for the Puget Sound Bonsai Association. His knowledge and expertise was used here to describe all the bonsai auction trees. He, along with Dave Degroot, who was a former curator for the Bonsai Museum down in Federal Way, were the ones who gave detail and descriptions to every single tree in the auction. Together, Dave and Ken probably have over 60 years of combined bonsai knowledge. And they were the ones who described all the auction trees as they came up. So I'm going to leave the video a little bit long and let you listen to everything that they have to say about each tree. There might be some useful information that you can pick up from it.
It does extremely well here in our climate, in our area. So this is a tree that I've found over the years to be very rewarding to work on.
This is styled in a sort of a broom style. And if you notice the way the wiring has been done, it's actually not traditional wiring, it's all guy wire. And I think it's also a very nice size, making it easy to work on and easy to move around. With that,
17 years this one's been in, 17-year-old trees, 10 years in training. A gorgeous forest planting. We'll get it started here with $100 to go. I should have 17 parts.
What?
2017.
2017. Okay, so this has been restyled. It's got a nice flow to it, and what I like is that there's a nice marriage. Well, first of all, foliage. So your foliage is nicely in scale, and they're going to stay that way. They're going to keep that aspect. And it has got lots of nice full branches. There's a lot. Again, there's a lot of work, lot to work with here on this tree. And the pitch pot that it's in, the kind of the rustic pot, is a nice foil for this tree and kind of complements the motion of the tree itself. So, nice little Mugo pine here.
Beautiful little pine. All right.
passed away, what, about 3 or 4 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, so he was well regarded as a pot maker. You would find him at most every national bonsai conference selling his pots. The tree, one thing about European olives, one of the things you'll notice is that they will send shoots. So if you need branches, you just wait and something will pop out. And so they're easy to work with in that regard. It's a small leaf. This tree does have some carving on it, initiated already. Many of the olives that you see and ancient olives do have a lot of dead wood on them, and they can live to great age. So with that, I'll turn it over to John.
Thickness is excellent. The second thing is the Japanese beech are able to get those leaves reduced. Okay, this is only 3 years in training, so they're not worried about leaf reduction right now. You're going to be building your branch structure on this thing, but boy, it's got good bones. It's got a really good start, and it's good material. So anyway, Japanese beech.
So here we have a formal upright Hinoki cypress. This is going to make a nice tree. For those of you who are familiar with Hinoki, or not familiar with Hinoki, it's a scale type foliage, and it's pretty easy to manage. They create wonderful foliage pads by reducing, cutting back at certain times of the year. And this has a great start to it. The owner has put movement into the branches. He or she has created shari, a gin on top, and then nice twisting branches on to give it that look of an old tree that has survived a lot. And so I think this would be a nice addition to anybody's collection.
You're not going to let him take that away from you. Give me 11. Let's go. You know you want to take this home. It's not that much more. Give me 11. What do you say? I got 10. Give me 11, 11, 11, 11. Are you going to give me 11? Last chance, last call. $1,000, number 99. Thank you very, very much.
15 years in training, and it was started by Masa Furukawa, who is, and there's a bonsai right out here in the museum from Masa Furukawa. He was really a master down in the Portland, Oregon area. And a back branch which lends some distinctiveness to it because it's almost a second trunk, but not quite. It's been used as a branch instead of a trunk, and it really gives it a nice feeling.
Oh, I got 1, now 2. I got 2, now 3. I got 2, now 3. I got 3, now 4. I got 4, now 5. I got 4, give me 5, and it'll give me 5. I got a 4, give me 5 now, give me 5. I got a 4 here, give me 5. I got a 4, give me 5, and then give me 5, it'll give me 5, and then make like I'm 5. Who'll give me 5 now, and give me 5?
1989. Ginkgos are a lot of fun. I have several of them. I came to them rather late, and I really enjoy working on them. But none of mine are uprights. Mine are more of a clump style. So this ginkgo offers you, and in my neighborhood there's a very large ginkgo that is growing just like this rather than a clump. And so this tree has quite good taper, and branching is beginning. It still needs to be developed. The branch structure is getting started, but with some.
But anyway, it has a couple interesting features. I really like this part over here that's on your left. It's got great movement. It's got some interesting branching, and then we have something over here on what's now your left. That is also a neat element that I like very much. And so I would say that if I had this, I see some potential in here for doing some work on this that can really bring it into its own, because it's got all the elements that it needs to give you a really satisfying bonsai. And so that's my comment. I like this tree.
2-year-old seedling, 23 years in training in a bonsai pot. This tree, of course, everybody knows that Japanese larch is a deciduous conifer. In the fall, later in the fall, the needles will turn yellow, orange, and drop off, revealing the branch structure. And the current owner has done a nice job in creating branch structure with leader and secondary, tertiary branches. This will make a nice addition to anybody's collection. It has a nice nabari, nice base to the tree, and that's a real feature. And so I think this is a very fine formal upright Japanese larch that will be a plus to anybody's collection.
So it's early in its life as bonsai. One of the great things about this is it has a very substantial trunk, very powerful looking trunk for such a small tree, but the branches are beautifully in scale with it. The branches are small, they're fine. It's what you see in actual trees in nature. And the foliage is great too. The pot is a custom pot, and in case you're wondering about the blue color of the pot, that is because these turn blazing yellow, orange, and red leaves in fall, and it's a fantastic complement to the fall foliage. So this is a dandy little tree.
Listed as a semi-cascade, but quite frankly, I think this tree could be, one of the things that could happen is it could be tilted way up on, change the angle of the planting completely. You could do a number of things with this tree if you didn't want to keep it in a semi-cascade. It's one of our natives, and it is got a dramatic trunk with lots of movement, lots of branches to choose from. And for somebody who wants to take on a tree that is very early in its development and create something that is uniquely theirs, I think this is the perfect opportunity.
It's also another museum tree, so you will be donating straight to the museum's fund here. So get us started with $100 to go. I got a 1, give me 2. I got a 100, give me 2 now. I got a 2 now, 3. I got 3 now, 4. I got 4 now, 5. I got a 4 now, 5, and a million 5. I got a 4 now, 5, and a million 5, and a million 5, and a million 5. I got 5 now, 6. I got 6 now, 7. I got 6, give me 7 now. I got 6, give me 7. I got 6, give me 7, give me 7 now, 8. You're in at 6. You're in at 6, I need 7. 7 now, 8. And you got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9, give me 9, give me 9. It's fun when they sit beside each other. I got 8, give me 9, give me 9, give me 9, who'll give me 9. I got 8, give me 9 now. I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9, give me 9, who'll give me 9. New batters out there? 8, give me 9, in last chance, last call, 8.5. Give me 8.5, what do you say? He'll go 9. If you go 8.5, there's 9. I got 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 9.5. 9.5, what do you say? 9.5, 9.5. I got 9, give me 9.5. Huh? She gonna hit him? So is she with you or with him? Okay.
You did whatever you want.
I got 9, give me 9.5. I got 9, give me 9.5. What do you say? Last chance, last call. Sold $900 number. You bid on a bunch, but I don't know if I sold you one yet.
Okay, next up is informal upright Shimpaku juniper. This was a tree that was purchased around 2000 from Takayamura up in Japan Bonsai in White Rock, BC. Tak is no longer with us, but was an amazing artist and sold some incredible Chinese junipers during the course of running his business. This tree is probably close to, I'm sure it was at least 20 years old. It's one of my trees that when I purchased it. So this tree is closing in on 50 years. In the design, it tried to augment the natural movement to the tree. The shari and the jin are the remnants of too many branches that needed to be thinned and open up the tree and create some of that dramatic ancient juniper look that you get with shari. It's very healthy. It's in a kisen tokonome pot. It's a signature pot, and it's in the peak of health.
And Ken needs us to bid this way up because it's one of his wife's favorites. So he needs to go home and say, at least I got something for it, honey. All right, he'll get us started with $100 to go. I got 1, give me 2. I got 2 now, 3. I got 3 now, 3 now, 4 now, 5 now, 6 now, 7. I got 6, I need 7. Who'll give me 7 now? I got 7, give me 8. I got 7, give me 8 now, give me 8, give me 8, give me 8. Who'll give me 8? I got 7, I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9 now. I got 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10, give me 10. I got 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 10 now. I got 9, give me 10. I got 10, give me 11 now. I got 10, give me 11, 11, 11, 11. Kind of wish you'd be 11 since you're number 111. That would be fun. But no, I got 10 now, I got 11. I need 12. I got 11, give me 12. I got 11, give me 12. I got 11, give me 12 now, and I'm going to get 12. I got 11, give me 12. I got 11, give me 12, give me 12, give me 12.
11.5.
11.5. Okay, 11.50, still need 12. I got 11 and a half, who'll give me 12? I got 11 and a half, give me 12. I got 11 and a half, give me 12. I got 12 now, 12 and a half. I got 12 now, 12 and a half. Who'll give me 12 and a half? I got 12, give me 12 and a half. Last chance, last call. Sold. $1,200, number 85. Thank you very, very much.
Blue pot, of course, has to do with that. And the movement is nice. The flow is nice. You got the upper terminal and the lower terminal that coordinate.
In bonsai collections, but I've never owned one, and I don't know quite how they grow. Not so little leaf, yeah. It's a tree with nice movement. It's got it has nice taper from the base, a good base. Interesting nabari. I think it could be planted a little bit lower in the pot, but it does have nice movement and nice taper in a relatively short space. And
I love the branch structure internal. It's look through there.
Yeah, it looks like a tree you would find in the woods somewhere.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last chance, last call. Sold $650. What's your number, sir?
Wait.
You got you?
Oh, is this Austrian black pine? For those of you who aren't familiar with it, It is obviously a European import, but in nature or in the nursery, these needles will be 8 to 10 inches long. However, it's remarkably amenable to needle reduction. As you can see here, this is almost like Mugo pine sized needles on here. And I've seen older Austrian black pines where they look like spruce needles on the tree. So one of the great features of this tree is the foliage and the fact that it's been so effectively reduced already. It's got a great base, lots of branching, lots of choices, and good taper all the way to the top. So Austrian black pine. I read the description is, that's a heck of a good development for 7 years in training. So somebody knew what he was doing working on this thing. So it's a beautiful tree with lots of grace. I personally love the front that the artist has chosen. And this is one of the things about hemlocks, is you can say they can look very aged and have lots of dead wood and so on and so forth, but they've got a softness to the foliage that when you style it to look graceful, it's really appropriate and it really looks nice. So fantastic little mountain hemlock.
Beautiful little tree.
For Tanuki, you have a deadwood base down here, and that has been carved and a groove created, and then the shimpaku has been attached into that groove to give it the look of an ancient juniper. So it's a very effective style of using younger material and incorporating it with deadwood, substantial deadwood. And in this case, the deadwood that's on this tree is I think it's just beautiful. So I think that this tree has been, looking here, I don't see much about it. The foliage it's very robustly growing. It needs to be thinned and layered, but you can have lots of choices for branches here. And I think this would be a fine addition to anybody's collection.
That's all I can tell you right now.
All right. Well, let's see who can tell us they'll give me $100 for it to get started. Give me $100 to go. Anybody gonna go?
Is another name for it. And this one has, I'm always a sucker for the proportion between the trunk and the branches. One of the faults of bonsai so often, and one of the things that makes a bonsai look like a bonsai instead of a natural tree, is that the branches are too large, too thick, and too few. And one of the things I like about this tree is the proportional relationship between the size of the branches and the size of the trunk, which I think is very good. So anyway, here we go with the trident maple root over rock.
Root over rock. Look at me.
It's a good sized grove.
All right. A stand.
But it's really well done. I mean, we have a beautiful variation in size. Once again, the idea that the artist has taken care in the placement of the trees and the arrangement of the trees to ensure that the trees are going to remain healthy in their positions. And we're starting to get some, it looks like interlocking roots already. Foliage looks very good, looks very healthy. And this has, to me, a real feeling of conifers, a conifer forest, or in this case, a very healthy conifer grove, right? Okay, so anyway, good piece, good multi-tree planting. For those of you who aren't familiar, Kaho gets a multicolored bloom. The flowers are fairly large on it, very showy. It gets white, it gets pink with white spots, white with pink spots, white with pink stripes, all manner of variation. And they tend to bear very abundantly as well. So I've never been a lot of a flower guy, but I love azaleas. But I love azaleas because as bonsai. You know, they flower for 1 month out of the year, but they're bonsai for 12 months out of the year. And this one's a good bonsai. It's an import. It's azalea farmers who grow them in the ground. A tree of this size, with a trunk of this size, would have been grown for between 25 and 30 years in the ground. Then it would have been removed. Then it would have been sold to someone who would take the trees that have been newly dug, give them their first styling. It would spend a year or 2 or 3 in that situation, and then move on to someone who would further refine it and sell it to customers. And so this probably, after coming out as what's called aragi, the newly dug material out of the field, probably about 3 years after that, then coming here, and it's been here for quite a while. So I think we've probably got close to 50 years on this particular bonsai. Beautiful piece. I think it speaks for itself. I should shut up.
All right, it's gorgeous. Who'll get us started here with $100 to go? 1, 2, 3, 1,000. Okay, we'll start at 1,000. We'll give us 1,100. There's 12. Now 13. Now 14. Now 15. I got 14. I need 15. I got 14. Now 15. Now 16. Now 17. Now 18. Now 19. I got 18, give me 19. I got 18, give me 27, 5. 28? 28, now 28, 5. 28, 5, what do you say? Last chance, last call. 28, 5 is what I need. All done? All done? All done? $2,800. What's your number, sir? Your number? 119. Thank you very, very much.
So here we have offered, I hope everybody can see this, it's a lace-bark elm. What I know about it is that it's 7 years of age, 5 years in training. Bobby Curtright, out of the Portland area, I believe, is the artist behind it, and a custom glazed ceramic pot. We don't, if it doesn't get pounded brown by the rain first. But this tree is potted in a Walshall pot. It's an English pot. There's no mark on the bottom. I believe the mark is on the inside of the pot. This is a tree that I've had for a little while. It needs more growth out on this side, and I envision the tree being cut back to here. It has a trunk chop in the back, and this has been left to help that heal. I think ultimately the tree height is right in here. It has an interesting bark, interesting nabari, and with that I'll turn it over to John.
All right, this is Japanese black pine. This is was field grown by Bonsai Northwest, and it's been in training since '95. And this was done originally in a workshop with Kathy Shaner, and so it's got a little bit of history behind it. One of the features of this tree is it developed a necrotic zone, that is some dead tissue on this side of the tree, and so I thought in the long term what I want to do is put root grafts in it. And I did that, and one of them took for sure, a couple more took, I think. But part of this, what goes with this tree is
behind you.
Some seedlings to put in here. Anyway, the other idea that I just had the other day, thank you, they're there. The other idea I had just the other day was what I'm going to call reverse tanuki, or reverse, what's the other name? Phoenix graft. So Phoenix graft, normally you take a live tree and put it in a dead stone. In this case, you've got a live tree and you put a little bit of dead wood on it to fill that out. So, in other words, it's cheating, right? But anyway, I think you still end up, and if nobody wants it, that's okay, because I'm really happy to take this back home and work on that reverse tanuki. Okay, that's it. All right. Well, and of course, in fall, these leaves turn a kind of rust color, and they stay on for a long time. And obviously, the color of this pot was chosen exactly to go with those autumn leaves. So I think this is a really nice little piece.
Beautiful. To continue the development of the pads will create a very nice bonsai long term. I think this is a nice tree. I'll turn it over to you, John.
30 years old, 20 years in training. And I believe this is a cedar elm?
Yes.
It is. Okay. 50 years old.
Dave, it's another full street.
Another Foltz tree. Okay, so Roland Foltz, and a significant donor to the museum, and beautiful movement in this tree. These trees are native, usually where they find these is down in Texas. It's a southern tree, kind of dry-sided Mississippi tree. And this one has really excellent branching. This is, again, I mentioned this on a previous tree or two. The branching is really well formed on this tree. The crown is excellent. And we have what's called excurrent branching. That means the branches come out of the trunk on the lower part of the tree. And that's typical of how juvenile trees grow. So they grow kind of pyramidal, like a conifer sort of when they're young, many of them. And the branches come out singly. And then when they reach a certain level of maturity, the branches all decide, I want to be the main guy, and it creates this sort of bloom right at the top, and you get this rounded crown. And so this has been done very well on this tree. Very naturalistic, very well done tree.
All right, who'll give me 7 now? I got 6, give me 7. I got 6, give me 7. I got 6, anybody give me 6.5. I got 6, give me 6.5. I have 6.5 in 2 different places. I got 7 first, 7. I got 7, give me 7.5. I got 7.5, give me 8. I got 8, give me 8.5. I got 8, give me 8.5. 8.5? No, it goes this way, not this way, this way. 8.5. Anybody out there? 8.5. I got 8, give me 8.5. I got 8, give me 8.5. Last chance, last call. Sold. $800, number 126. There we go.
And it's got a nice little slant to it. So let me back up a little bit here on the dominant motion of the tree is horizontal.
So it's
almost semi, but it's got a really neat spire of gin toward the back, and it's well laid out.
Everybody knows that Sharon Muth was the owner of Bonsai Northwest and passed away just a few years ago. And so this allowed them, and as you move up, the branches get lighter in size. They also have a nice movement to them. So I think this will make a nice tree to anybody's collection.
Absolutely. Let's get us.
I'm trying to pronounce that last name right, and I have to work on it. But Suthan, for those of you who might know who that is, he's a fantastic bonsai artist who lives in Massachusetts. And he just won, I think this might have been for the 7th time, Best in Show at the U.S. National Bonsai. 4 times, I'm sorry. Okay, 4 times, thank you. You got it. Okay, Best in Show at the U.S. National Bonsai Exhibition. So he's fabulous, and he did a gorgeous job. Everything that he does is elegant. And so I'd like to just point this out to you, how graceful this is. And whoever gets it, there's probably a little thing that could be done on the top, but the branch arrangement is everything that he has ever designed is gorgeous. And this is a real little gem. It's a gem.
It's a gem. All right.
Okay, so this is a backbench top hat Chamaecyparis. It's 5 trunks, and it does have some nice movement, and that's probably why I selected it for doing a demo that I don't remember. But it was awesome.
Right in our live auction, we got this one and 1 more to go. We're starting at $500. Who'll give me 6? I got 5, there's 6, now 7. I got 7, 98. I got 7, need 8. I got 7, need 8. I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9 now. I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9. I got 8, give me 9, 9, 9. Who give me 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 10, who'll give me 10. I got 9, give me 10 now. I got 9, give me 10 now. I got 9, give me 10 now. 10 now, and give me 10. I got 9, give me 10. I got 9, give me 9.5. I got 9, give me 9.5. Somebody give me 9.5. I got 9, give me 9.5. 97. Thank you very much.
that about 25 plus years old, grown from seed, and in training for 20 years in a Japanese pot.
So we had a fantastic time. It was a very successful event. Thanks again to Guy and Emmy who helped put together this entire event for the live auction and the silent auction. It went very well. Thanks to all the volunteers that helped out that day as well. Here's a picture of the group, our club, for the Puget Sound Bonsai Association. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little bit long, but for everybody that missed the auction, I hope you come out next year. We'll do it again as an annual thing. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Feel free to skip through the video because it was a little bit long. Alright, there were a couple trees I wanted, but I got this one, which kind of reminds me of my birthday juniper shimpaku. This is actually a very big tree. Compare that to my hand size, and I'm pretty happy with it. And it reminds me a lot of what I already have, but it's a great looking tree. It just needs to be some fine-tuned wiring and a little bit of peeling of the bark, and I think it'll be a very awesome tree. Alright, here is the shimpaku. I made it home. I love this tree. It's very healthy, it's very vigorous. It's got beautiful movement. It's a monster. You know, I have to do very little with this tree. Maybe just clean up the bark, lime sulfur the deadwood, and just a little bit of wiring. Not too much. You know, overall I could tell this is a John Muth tree. It has that kind of look and bend about it. But it's a very healthy, luscious tree, and I was happy to get it at the price. It reminds me a lot of my birthday tree, except bigger and much more foliage. It's a beautiful tree. Very happy with it.